The events of September 11, 2001, dramatically altered the course of history. As the terrorist attacks on the United States prompted a military response that led to a prolonged and costly war with the Taliban in Afghanistan. This video delves into the US-Taliban conflict after September 11, examining the human and financial toll on both sides, while also exploring the reasons behind the challenges faced by the US military in its efforts to achieve its objectives. The US response and initial success. Following the 9/11 attacks, the United States launched Operation Enduring Freedom in October 2001. With the primary objective of ousting the Taliban regime, which had provided safe haven to al-Qaeda and its leader, Osama bin Laden. The initial phase of the war saw swift military action by the US and its coalition allies, as the Taliban's hold on power quickly crumbled. In a matter of weeks, the Taliban government was toppled, and al-Qaeda's operational capabilities in Afghanistan were significantly disrupted. However, even in these early stages, the US faced the complexity of the Afghan conflict, a nation deeply divided along tribal, ethnic, and regional lines. Human and financial costs. The US-Taliban war came at a significant human cost on both sides. As of the knowledge cutoff in September 2021, tens of thousands of Afghans, including civilians, security forces, and insurgents, lost their lives in the conflict. On the US side, over 2,300 American military personnel were killed, and many more were wounded. In addition to the human toll, the financial costs of the war were substantial. The US spent trillions of dollars on military operations, reconstruction efforts, and humanitarian aid in Afghanistan. The cost of maintaining a large military presence, supporting Afghan security forces, and funding development projects placed a heavy burden on the US economy. Challenges faced by the US. The US military intervention in Afghanistan faced numerous challenges, contributing to a protracted conflict that endured for more than 2 decades. Some of the key factors that contributed to these challenges are as follows. Insurgency and resilience of the Taliban. Taliban quickly regrouped after their initial defeat and launched an insurgency against the US-backed Afghan government. Their ability to exploit grievances, regional power dynamics, and the porous border with Pakistan allowed them to maintain a formidable presence and control significant rural areas. Corruption and governance issues. The Afghan government's rampant corruption, weak institutions, and inability to provide effective governance undermined public trust and alienated the population. This created fertile ground for the Taliban to gain support from disenchanted communities. Complexity of Afghan society. Afghanistan's multi-ethnic, tribal, and religious divisions posed significant challenges for US efforts to build a cohesive and stable nation. Understanding and navigating these complexities were crucial for successful nation-building efforts. Overextension and war weariness. The extended military involvement in Afghanistan and the simultaneous engagement in other conflicts, like Iraq, stretched US military resources and generated war weariness among the American public. Inadequate regional cooperation. The conflict in Afghanistan was influenced by regional powers, including Pakistan, India, Iran, and Russia, each with their own interests and agendas. Lack of regional cooperation hindered long-term stability. Maintaining neutrality. While the US intervention in Afghanistan was aimed at countering terrorism and promoting democracy and human rights, the Taliban's perspective differed significantly. From their standpoint, they saw themselves as resisting foreign occupation and attempting to establish an Islamic State based on their interpretation of Sharia law. The conflict was complex and multifaceted, with each side perceiving their actions as just and righteous. Acknowledging these differing perspectives is essential in understanding the depth of the conflict and the challenges in finding a lasting resolution. The war lasted for 20 years and spanned 4 US presidencies, becoming the longest war in US history. The war resulted in many casualties on both sides, as well as among civilians. Nearly 50,000 Afghan civilians died, as well as tens of thousands of Afghan security forces and Taliban fighters. The US lost 2,402 military personnel and 18 CIA operatives, while its allies lost 1,144 troops. The war also cost the U.S. more than $2 trillion. The reasons why the U.S. lost the war in Afghanistan are debated and contested by different analysts and experts. Some of the common arguments include: the U.S. military might has declined and its superpower status has eroded. The U.S. lacked determination and political will to achieve its objectives. The Afghans are fierce fighters who are hard to defeat or subjugate. The U.S. and its allies could not sustain the support of their own publics, who lost interest and questioned the efficacy of the war. The U.S. had an unwinnable strategy that failed to address the root causes of terrorism and insurgency. The U.S. faced opposition from regional and global actors who had different interests and agendas in Afghanistan. The U.S. completed its withdrawal from Afghanistan on August 30, 2021-12, ending its 20-year military presence in the country. The withdrawal was based on a deal that the U.S. signed with the Taliban in February 2020, which set a deadline of May 1, 2021 for the U.S. to leave, in exchange for the Taliban's counter-terrorism commitments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like my channel, please hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support me.